Very good evening, sir. I hope you can hear me well.
Yeah, I can hear you well. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us, sir. I'm Tejaswini, and I'll be hosting the session on the behalf of Blub World.
Okay.
So we'll start off the session, and we'll start off the session with your opening address. And after that, we'll start taking questions from the teens.
Sure. So go ahead if you have something for me.
Okay, so sir, I was just wondering if you won the questions earlier, because there are some specific field related question as well. So I can do one thing, that I can send the questions in the chat prior. I asked the question, like I asked the team to ask the question to you.
Oh, okay. Whatever way, I think Tejasvi, you are driving it, so whatever way you want to do it, I'm happy to go with you.
Sure, so then we'll start off with attending the teams in the meeting, and then we'll start off the session post. A very good evening to everyone. I hope you people can hear me well, is it?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. So we'll just start off the session, sir. We'll just wait for 2 to 3 more minutes, and then we'll start off the session.
Sure.
Meanwhile, we are waiting for 2 to 3 minutes. I definitely know that the teens must have researched about, and they have a lot of questions, because sir, eventually we got a lot of responses about what they want to do in their career and the guidance that they need from you in terms of the career. So I will ask the teenagers to switch on their cameras to make the session more interactive, and also to jot down more questions, because we'll eventually be taking more questions from the chat itself. So you have an extra opportunity if you have more questions to put in. So we will take the questions from the audience directly also. So I want to see that who all have submitted the questions, and who all are excited for the career Q&A session. So people can give me a thumbs up if you have submitted the questions, and also who are excited to know more about the career, and eventually will get a lot of guidance here. So give me a thumbs up, guys. So I can see a lot of thumbs up on my screen. That's great. So Akshita is giving a thumbs up. Shikhar is giving a thumbs up. I can see Aisha, Vinayak, Tashmiya. Okay, that's great. But Anshika, Pakhi, Shikhar, Ishtha, I can see your thumbs ups, but not your pretty faces. Please make sure you switch on your camera before we start off the session. Akshita is also giving a thumbs up. That's great. That shows the enthusiasm that you people have to ask the question, and how interested you people are at this age in this session, that you want to get the knowledge from our esteemed guests about the career related questions that we'll be taking for sure. So we'll start off the session. We have enough teenagers to start off the session. And so first of all, I would like to say a very good evening to everyone. Welcome to our career Q&A session, which is specifically tailored for teenagers who are in grade 8 to 12. Today, eventually, we have the privilege and that experience that we are going to get from the session from our esteemed guest, Mr. Manish Bansal. Sir, we are fortunate to have you, and thank you so much for joining us. Throughout the session, we'll be taking questions from the teenagers. So we will be moving on with your opening address, and I'm very sure that they will be seeking advice on pursuing their passion, the clarity and the inspiration that they need from you. So, sir, I will just Yes, sir, you can start off. So we can start off the session by your opening address. The teams have waited eagerly to have the session with you.
Sure. Thank you very much, first of all, for having me here. And it's wonderful to spend this beautiful evening with all of you. Uh, and I know that you guys are very young soul. It's like the mud, which is trying to get into shape of something. And at this young age, and especially in the era of the social media, we have so many misconceptions, and every day there is a new thought. So people are under tremendous amount of pressure, trying to see what others are doing and can they do something like that. And unfortunately, please remember that in the social media, people are trying to show the best of their self, right? So what's happening on the real side of their life is not known to you and me. So I think, start with the very opening remark in the sense that all of you are very unique, right? And so your career choices have to be unique. You don't need to really follow anyone in this world. You have to create your own path, and you all have the potential to do it. So just be yourself and focus upon what you want to do. Don't unnecessarily get influenced or bogged down by whatever is happening around, and that's the way to basically progress in your career. Uh, I think I'll stop there, and we will obviously have a lot of questions. On the questions I will answer, and I think I would like to go with that. Let's go with that.
Sure, so. So as you said that, yeah, sir, even I agree to the part where you said that you have to be yourself. You don't have to follow people. You have to take the inspiration, and these teens must have inspiration, and they'll eventually get more of now. So what we'll do is that we'll ask teens. So I have opened the chat for you guys. Please put on your question in the chat. Sir will be taking the questions from there. Meanwhile, sir, there are some missions that they have made already. So the first question comes, which is about what are the fundamental principles that I need to look for a career to consider a good one? So I feel this is the question that is from a lot of teams.
Yeah. So there are some people waiting. I see some people, 8 people entered the waiting room or something. Can you just
Yes,
admit?
I have allowed. I have allowed.
Okay. So again, fundamental principles, what your career has to be based on is, I would essentially put the happiness first. I'm not just talking in the air. I'm talking from my own experience. I have a young daughter, which is kind of your age, and I told her, why don't you join the session? She said, no, I don't need anything of this kind, because you are anyway here all the time giving us gyan. So, so that's a different story. But what I did, I actually gave her a set of questions, right? Saying that what kind of life you imagine yourself, right? Let's say 5, 10, 15 years down the line, right? What kind of life? So she gave a very beautiful picture of herself, saying that, look, I want to be working in a corporate world, wearing a very professional dress, walking around, people telling me, good morning, ma'am, all the kind of stuff, right? So, and obviously, I love beaches and I love this. So just imagine, I think things manifest, right? All of you are at this age where you can imagine, and you all have the power to create that imagination, right? So your choice is not dependent upon what your parents want, because parents want to fulfill their wishes through you. They could not become doctors, so they want you to be doctor, or they are doctors, so they want you to be doctor. It doesn't make any sense at all, right? I know it's not easy to explain to your parents. Number of times, they just want to drive the kids in their own direction, but you have to try to make them understand that part, right? So what is important, the fundamental is the happiness to my mind. And obviously the second part is, whatever career you choose, it has to be rewarding financially, right? You and me can sometimes choose the career because, let's say, you love art and you may like to do the art, but the question is, what do you do with that art later, right? For example, philosophy, it's good to learn the subject, but how can that earn for you is a question which you need to ask in advance, right? If you don't know how you can earn, maybe go and connect with the 5 guys. So just to give another example, so again, I'm taking example from the real life. A young teenager who came to me saying that I want to work in the psychology area, I want to do my graduation in the psychology, and I asked the same question: what do you do after the psychology? And she said, look, there are opportunities in terms of clinical psychologists and this and that. And I said, clinical psychology, do you understand what each of these areas are? You have to work with the patients, you have to work with the mental retarded, you have to work with the psychiatrist cases, etc., etc. Do you have that kind of mindset? If you are very emotional, you can be very influenced. So what I'm trying to communicate is, if you do not know, that's fine. And I can tell you, even at the age of 50, I don't know what I will do tomorrow, because that's the way the life goes. It evolves, and you should be open to that evolution process. However, if you don't know, you should be ready to learn. Go to the people who know. So if you are working in the psychology area, just go and meet 5 psychologists in the different areas. And I can tell you, people are willing to share their knowledge and experience with you, right? So they will tell you the positives and the negatives of that particular profession. If you want to know about the chartered accountancy, go to 5 chartered accountants and talk where the opportunities are. And also ask them what the pain points are. Or so is the case with the doctors. They don't have their own life, right? From the outside world, it could be very, very nice, but very zazzy, but it is very different. So the fundamental part is the happiness. Something which gives you happiness, you should always follow that, nothing else in the world, because at the end of the day, we live one life. And second is, it has to be commercially rewarding, right? If you are passionate about something, that happiness will come, and it has to be commercially rewarding. Otherwise, there will be pain tomorrow, right? So these are the 2 fundamentals I'll work on, and obviously play on your strength. So if you have worked in the commerce area and tomorrow you say, I want to work on the technology, or you are a technology guy and say, I want to work upon the commerce, give yourself a break, right? Don't just jump the streams. It could be very difficult for you, because you'll be competing with very different set of people there. So these are the 2 or 3 fundamentals which I will say: A, happiness; B, commercial aspects or the angle; and C, play on your strengths. Don't just jump the fields just because you think something is very, very beautiful and green there, right? That's the way it is.
I totally agree, sir, that people are just taking an experiment. They're doing an experiment that when there's a commerce guy, they're still working, so they have to figure it out. Definitely. So there's one question which is related to this, and that comes from Tehzeeb. I will ask Tehzeeb to ask the question himself.
Sure.
Good evening, sir. My name is Tehzeeb Kabir, and I am an elected MP of the World Parliament from Bangladesh. So my question is, in this rapidly changing job market, what opportunities do teens have, and working on which field will be the best for teens?
Yeah, you know what? The fields are evolving. Who thought about the electric vehicles, let's say 5 or 10 years, the back? Today, the world is talking about electric vehicles. When I started working in the financial services market, we had, I don't know how much all of you know about the stock markets, and I am the financial markets guy, right? We had the outcry system where people used to shout for the trading of the shares. Now everything is electronic. We had the physical shares. Now everything is the electronic shareholding, right? We never thought about the ATMs the way they are today, right? So, or the UPI, which you and me are using every day on the transactions of the financial markets, right? So when I'm traveling from Bombay to Goa by car, I don't spend even 100 rupees cash. Everything is on the UPI, be it for the tea or for the coconut, you make the payment or the food, right? So the world is changing. It will continue to change. Only constant is change, right? However, one thing which is becoming very clear, my dear friend, is the tech and the way you and me are consuming the tech, or alternatively, tech is consuming you and me. We are leaving the footprints everywhere. And because of that, the data which you and me are seeing every day, and the data kind of multiplying at an accelerated pace. And so the opportunities with regard to the data analysis. Again, you see that part. See, what's happening is the 2 or 3 areas which I can talk about is the data and data related, because people are competing for your mind share. For example, on your mobile app, you have 20 applications. The question is how these applications are competing with you. Why are you hooked to, for example, WhatsApp? Why are you hooked to, for example, only the Instagram, right? Because there are engineers who are working to take your mind share continuously. And that fight or the battle will continuously increase given the technology part. Technology and data footprint, so data analysis, etc. These areas of opportunities will continue to be there in my mind for the next 10, 20, 30 years. You look at, for example, energy space. Look at the basic things which you consume every day. Energy is evolving from the oil and gas. You have gone to the CNG to LNG, PNG. Now you have electric. You have a lot of things evolving there as well. Now you're talking about the hydrogen power. You will talk about nuclear. So much of stuff happening on the energy side. Look at water. Basic things. People will start fighting with the water. right? So the water and the water side, sanitization, the hygiene. I mean, just look around, the problems are plenty, be it Bangladesh, be it India, or be it any of the developing countries. And so the opportunities for you and me will exist. They will evolve, they will change over a period of time. So you should define your area and start progressing in that, right? So that's the way it should be, when it comes to the opportunities in the time to come. And every new thing will kill some opportunities and it will create some more opportunities, right? So please don't think that this is the end of the world. There was AI, there is AI, there will be AI. You were there, I was there. Some more people will be there. Consumption will remain. You and me will continue eating. So there is always an opportunity in the food. There will always be an opportunity in the transportation, but the means will change, and that's the way.
Thank you, sir. I was able to understand your question. I was able to answer your answer loud and clear.
Good.
So when it comes to AI, I have many questions which have been submitted by the teenagers when it comes to AI, because they have this question in their mind, because now AI is coming up, and so what are the challenges, what are the things? So there's one question that I can see in the chat also, which has been submitted by Aisha. Aisha, please unmute yourself and ask the questions from sir.
Myself, about India. My question is that what are the potential benefits and challenges of pursuing a career in a rapidly evolving industry like the artificial intelligence?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. The voice is cracking. So if
Yes, I will read that question.
Yeah.
Sure, your voice is a little feeble. So she's asking, sir, that what are the potential benefits and challenges of pursuing a career in a rapidly evolving industry like the AI, like the artificial intelligence?
Very good question. See, anytime, I'm an investor, and let me just take the analogy from there. And as an investor, people are always trying to figure out where is the next opportunity to make 100 times of my money, right? So people are looking at what is the next big thing, right? All the time. But I reverse the question and I ask the question myself, not what will change, but what will not change, right? While everyone is following up what will change and they want to make the money 100 times very, very quickly, remember that what will change very fast itself, right? So though you have the potential to make 100 beggars 100 times, but you also have the potential to make it zero. And that's what happens in the fast-paced technology world where something is changing. Now I reverse the question and ask the question, what will not change? And when I ask this question, I find some very beautiful answers. For example, you and me and the entire world does the brushing, right? We will continue brushing. So we will need the Colgate, right? We all the time are taking the bath. We will continue needing the products from the, let's say, Hindustan Unilever, right? Unilever products. So what I'm trying to say, for example, you and me are wearing the jockey, right? All in the garments. So ask that question. It's good to be in pursuit of what will change. But I think I'm okay to make money slow, but I'm okay to look at the opportunities which are very stable and continue to grow in the future. Are you with me? People are brushing one time, people are brushing now 2 times. Now only 30% of the population in the world is brushing, or country is brushing. Probably 40 will, and then 50, and then 60 will, brush their teeth. That's the way it is. Right. Now, coming back to your answer, your question on the AI. AI, what is AI? See, when you are sitting on the mobile and you are typing something and the mobile starts understanding where do you go all the time. Like, for example, you are on the Ola or Uber. When you are on the Google, you type half and it types the remaining part, right? Then you have all of us know Chat GPT, right? You give some instruction, it will write a beautiful stuff for you. So it is helping you, right? However, the people are also misusing it, and when they misuse it, there's an opportunity for you to crack that misuse. For example, deepfake, you and me are hearing, right? You and me are unconsciously putting a lot of stuff on the social media, and people, that picture of yours and mine can be used to manipulate you tomorrow through the deepfake. So, and obviously there is a problem now because of the deepfake, etc. Now there are people required to solve that problem, right? So you and me now, because of these AI related problems, people are doing a lot of things. Then you will need the people to solve those criminal parts, right? So every opportunity will create threat, and then there will be an opportunity to solve the problems which that threat is creating, right? So this is a never-ending world. If you look at people in the very initial phase of the life, they didn't have anything, right? They used to live in the jungles. From there, we have come here, and you have seen the last 10 years of life have been the fastest change ever. Probably we didn't see the change in the last 40 years, what I saw in the last 10 years. And I think this space will continue with the way the technology is moving. So be comfortable with the change. The day you start saying that I'm comfortable facing the world, right? Whatever it is, I think you have evolved. So is the case with the career. And I can tell you, my dear friend, in my entire 30 years of career, I have never done anything for more than 3 years. After every 3 years, I have died and I have reborn myself, because I've tried to figure out where the next opportunity will be, where I can deploy my competence more, what else I can explore. And I think you and me have to be comfortable with that phase. There is nothing which will remain permanent for you, be it AI or anything else, right?
I totally agree to what you said, that AI is now anyway taking a lot. And see, we have many questions coming to AI. We'll be taking that soon. But so there's one interesting question that you can see in the chat that is coming, that what is more important? So is it education or it is experience?
This question of education versus the experience, the debate has always remained there, right? And then people have said that, look, education, you must remember, is your entry point somewhere, right? When you go for the first job, or if you are going for the job, right? You should always and always, people will ask for what your education is. Once you have entered somewhere, right, with education or without education, after that, what matters is what you produce there, right? Because see, if you go for any interview or you are meeting anyone and saying, look, I can do this, I'm going to ask this question, how you can create value. And so you are answering that question, look, I can apply my knowledge. So what is important is knowledge, right? Now that knowledge can come from either the experience, or you can say the bookish knowledge or the education part, right? In the first level, education is important. And after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, no one is going to ask your degree, right? What they're going to ask is, in the previous organization or organizations, what you have produced. If you are from the Ivy League, right, from the IITs, the IIMs, or the Harvard or the Kellogg, then you communicate that, look, I'm from this particular place. Otherwise, people don't even ask and you don't even speak, right? So not the knowledge is the core. Your base should be knowledge. You gain that knowledge from education or from the experience. At the end of the day, that's what matters. Ability to apply that knowledge is the key component, right? But remember, in the first job, for sure, education will matter. And after that, obviously, what you produce and how do you create value out of that knowledge is what will matter.
Definitely, sir. With the first job, it really matters. Your education matters. And at this point, where in the age where you people are framing that for you, that what exactly you're going to say in the interviews that you'll be sitting on after some time.
Yeah.
So this one question that is coming from Vinayak. Vinayak, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah. Namaste, sir. I'm Vinayak Gupta from Bhavan, Vidyalaya, Panchkula, Haryana. Today, my question is that in today's career with educational qualifications, many other skills matter. What are the major skills that every teen should develop to secure his or her future?
Awesome. Very beautiful question you have asked, my dear friend. And I can tell you, a lot of people pass the exam and fail in the real life, right? So your question is absolutely awesome. What is critical is communication skills. What is critical? So if you ask me, I will put a couple of points, right? Now, number one is communication, right? Be it the written or the oral. Number two is the presentation skills, right? Interpersonal skills, because you have to deal with the people all the time. When you are at home, you're dealing with your mom or your brothers, your sisters, your friends everywhere, right? When you're in the organization, you deal with your seniors or juniors or your colleagues or the customers or the suppliers or who knows. So communication, presentation, interpersonal skills, ability to structure issues and synthesize solutions, creativity. These things no one talks, these are softer skills, right? unfortunately, most of the people spent 90% of their time focusing upon the hard skills, which will kind of diminish over a period of time. For example, if you are studying, for example, let's say engineering, and in engineering, chemical engineering, so you will spend 90% of your time focusing upon, let's say, chemical part. And remember, as we are discussing, everything is evolving. What you're studying probably will stop mattering after 2, 3, 4 years. But what will go with you? The remaining 10% skills. And what are those remaining 10%? This is these, the softer skills: communication, presentation, interpersonal, creativity, ability to think on a problem, ability to find solutions. You can outsource everything, but you can't outsource thinking. Develop that capability. You know, think hard on a problem, morning, evening, sit with a piece of pen and the paper and structure that problem on a paper. Try to write the possible answers, called the possibility thinking, I use the term, and say, then every possibility where the problems could be, where the positives are, where the negatives are. These are the skills which matter 90% in the real life. But unfortunately, we don't spend even 10% of our conscious time towards building these skills. And these skills will never fade. You are at 15 years age or you are at 55 years age, right? These skills will matter equally. But hard skills, so that mistake of putting 90% of your time, efforts, and energy towards developing the hard skills, which are important, I'm not saying no, but they will fade, right? Focus larger share of your skills and time and efforts and energy to build the softer skills, which will go with you throughout life. They will only end with me at the burial ground, not before that. But whatever I learned, right, many of those pieces I have left. It's like climbing the stairs. When you have to go to the 5th floor, you have to leave the 4th floor or the 3rd floor. So the moment you progress in your career, right, you will develop hard skill on a subject, you will drop it and then move to the next level and then move to the next level. That's the way the life progresses.
Vinayak, I hope you got your answer.
Yeah, ma'am. So basically, sir wants to say that we have to develop ability to develop a solution to every problem in our life so that we can deal it with it in the future. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
It's great because yes, so I totally agree with you, and that's so great that you got your answer, Vinayak, that soft skills is something that eventually in the past we were not focusing on much, but these days it's very important and it is taken care of by the organizations as well. But you as a teenagers, if you will learn this at this age, it will eventually help you in the future. So when you'll go in any of the organizations that you'll be working on, any big four or any of the organizations that are your dream organizations, you'll surely be having that initially, and then eventually they will give you all the courses and whatsoever they keep on doing. But you as a teenager will always be prepared, and that's great that you people are focusing on this as well. So sir, there's one thing that comes up a lot, and there's a lot of audience, a lot of submission which has this, that how to take criticism, because how important it is for teenagers to seek feedback, because you know that at this age they have this, that feedback doesn't seem like feedback, and this constructive criticism to improve their skills and performance in this career path that you are following right now.
Yeah, Bella, first point is that I don't use the word criticism, right? Feedback is just feedback. Unfortunate part is the moment let's say you come to me or I come to you and say, hey, give me the feedback, and you make a statement and I start defending it. No, I mean, that's the wrong way to do it. First of all, you should not be going to someone with a specific mindset. You should be going to someone saying that I honestly want you to tell me what you like about me or what you don't like about me, or what you think are my strengths, my weaknesses, whatever it is. And when someone tells you something, if you trust, and see, first is don't go to someone who you don't trust, right? Because the guy's going to talk nonsense. He doesn't know you, right? So you should go to someone who you think really knows you. Number one, whatever aspect of the life that is. Ask for the feedback, and when you're asking for the feedback, never interrupt. Don't try to defend yourself. Whatever someone is saying, just take a sincere piece of paper and the pen and write that down. You may accept that feedback or may not accept that feedback. You may work upon that, may not work upon that. That's your secondary aspect. At that point in time, you have no right to defend. I say you don't speak well, and you no, I speak well. Then don't take the feedback, right? Because he's saying that something. You can always ask a question: which part of my communication you think needs to be improved? That's a different question to us rather than saying, no, I speak well, right? So what I'm trying to call you, you don't carry yourself well. I can ask the question, please tell me what part of it. He may or she may say that, look, when you are going out, you should dress yourself neatly, right? Whatever it is, I'm trying to communicate your accessories have to be nice. So please take the feedback in the true spirit. Write that down sincerely so that you show the respect to the others because they are putting their time in giving the feedback, right? In fact, you can communicate to the people that please think about the feedback about me, note down the important points so that you don't just ask him to or her to speak extempore, right? So that they can also think and spend time about you and they can be more thoughtful, more productive, more focused. Please show the sincerity of writing down the feedback. Come back and contemplate over that feedback. You may accept, you may not accept, you may act on it, you may not act on it, but please don't try to defend yourself, right? And at the end of the day, people give their own mind share. Don't get demoralized. If there is weakness somewhere, we need to address it, right, boss? That's the way I would think of this whole part of the feedback. I also take feedback from my kids, by the way. I take feedback from my wife or anyone else. I'm okay, so whoever wants to say something, that's perfectly okay.
Yes, so definitely feedbacks are very important when it comes to, but at this age, people don't understand. Teenagers have that thing that no, I'm in a perfect world. They have this bubble near them, and they eventually take it as criticism. So this was a question that was.
We all have to improve. We are. Please remember, we are work in progress. We will only stop at the burial ground. I keep saying it. You and me have to become better every day, night when we go to bed, right? Better than what we were when we got up that morning. Most simple. It's not something which is very difficult to understand, right? So every day we have to add something, or we have to also deduct something which is not good in our personality.
So there's one question that is coming from Aasim, which is related to this ethics and what exactly things we have to consider. So I will ask Aasim. Aasim, can you please unmute yourself and ask the question?
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yeah.
So my question is, what are some ethical considerations teenagers should keep in mind when making career decisions?
Very good. See, what happens is that you will not know the ethical part in advance, right? For example, you start talking to me, or you join my organization. You will come to know about the ethics, etc. Whether I'm ethical or no, organization ethical or no, only after joining. Right? Beforehand, you can only talk to some of the people. Some may give you the true feedback, not true feedback. I have no idea, right? Only part is, either you can decide when you see something unethical happening, either you can ignore it, or you can become the part of it, or you may say, I do not want to continue with this kind of unethical behavior, right? All three will depend upon the situation, right? I'm not saying you should simply say that, look, I can't work with this people and this kind of organization. I can give you my own example. I worked with one individual and company for almost 3 years. And I found that this person has been lying continuously in several meetings to the customers, right? I feel very uncomfortable. I tried to explain him. I said, look, it's a matter of reputation, not only for you, for every one of us. And I don't want to be part of it. He did not change. Then I moved out because I didn't want to associate myself with anyone, even with the iota of the things, where there is a question mark to the credibility of mine, right? So sometimes you have to take those tough decisions, right? And you should not hesitate in taking those decisions. Remember it. Being ethical or not ethical is like being pregnant or not being pregnant. There can't be some pregnant, I am little bit pregnant, no nothing, right? And there's a beautiful ghazal सच बड़े या घटे तो सच ना रहे और झूठ की कोई लिमिट ही नहीं, राइट? तो आपको ये बहुत क्लैरिटी होनी चाहिए कि what you are doing, the kind of people you are associating with, organization you are associating with, if you see that things are not going in the right spirit, right, then that's a question, or that's the time when you have to stand up and decide what you want to do. You want to ignore it, you want to be part of it, go with the flow, or you just want to dissociate yourself. Choice will be yours.
Thank you, sir.
Great. So there's one question that I can see in the chat that Nabiha wants to ask. Nabiha, can you please unmute yourself and ask the question?
Yes, a very good evening, sir. I'm Nabiha Haneen from grade 8 Administrative School. My question to you is, according to the current generation, what skills are required to make a successful career?
So as I said earlier, the things are changing. So you have to be confident to face the world with the changing lenses. That's what is important. How can you be? You have to have, as I said, more focus on the softer skills like communication, presentation, interpersonal skills, ability to think through the problems. Because please remember, people are hiring you to solve problems. People are not hiring you for your knowledge. People are hiring you so that you can apply the accumulated knowledge and experience to solve certain amount of problems which are given to you. That's it. So ability to think through, ability to structure issues, ability to synthesize possible solutions, ability to evaluate them, ability to work with the people. These are the things which are required, right? And one thing which is missing in this world, especially in the teens, is the focus and concentration. I don't hesitate in saying it to my kids or to anyone else, and so do you guys, that the concentration or the focus today is a rare commodity. And if you can learn to focus, if you can learn to concentrate, I think that is going to be a differentiator for you and me for sure, right? That's the way I will conclude this part. Obviously, you and me have to learn whatever the required skills of the hands-on required, the specific job demands. But these are the things which will go very long with you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your guidance.
And you have to be learner, you can't stop learning. We have to learn continuously every day.
Nabiha, I hope you got your answer. So there's one question, there's one word that is very famous these days, Gen Z. There's one question that I can see in chat. Eventually, all the teens. So teens, give me a thumbs up if you have heard the word Gen Z and you consider yourself as a part of the Gen Z. See, we are getting thumbs up from the teens eventually. So I also don't understand the concept of Gen Z, to be very honest. But there's one question which is coming there, and we are getting lots of thumbs up. We are getting from Akshata, we have got from Aasim, we have got from Syed, Aasim, Tehzeeb, we got Samriddhi, we got. That's great. So, sir, considering the rapid pace of technological advancement, eventually, sir, I'll ask the team to ask this question. So, Agampreet, please unmute yourself and ask your Gen Z question that you want to go for.
Greetings, sir. I'm Agampreet Kaur from Rand National School, Sona Road, Gurugram, from India. And I'm very curious to know about things. And today my question to you is that considering this rapid pace of technological advancements and shifts in workplace dynamics, how can the Gen Z individuals like myself can best prepare for our future career opportunities and stay adaptable in an ever-evolving job market?
You have actually answered yourself. It's an ever-evolving job market. So please don't think the way probably your parents would have done or my parents would have done, stuck with the one organization for the entire life. Probably those jobs don't exist, those organizations don't exist, that environment doesn't exist. So you have already answered the question saying that things are changing and they are changing at a pace which probably is unprecedented. And please don't expect this pace to slow down. Probably this will only fasten given the technological enhancements which are happening in the world, right? Again, I would essentially, come back to those softer skills which I talked about, because you have to build the capability to face the changing world. You have to have that confidence that in this changed world, I will create a room for myself, because at the end of the day, it's your and my responsibility to stay relevant, right? Whatever is not relevant will be left behind. You must remember it. It's not world's responsibility to take care of you and me. It's our responsibility to stay relevant. And how can we stay relevant? Developing those softer skills and continuously putting some time to build the harder skills, right? For example, reading every day should become the part of the habit. For example, thinking should become the part of the habit. For example, interaction with some great minds should become the part of the habits. Whatever your job you are doing, there are enhancements happening in that area. Whatever you are in medical, you are in psychology, you are in philosophy, you are in whatever area you are, someone is doing something better than you somewhere in the world. Always be willing to learn what's happening, what's changing, how the world is changing, where else you can apply your competence. So you have to think on those lines. See, knowledge exists, but the problem is people don't know how to apply that knowledge to create value. People will pay you only for the value you create, right? So always ask a question, not just you are a knowledgeable guy. There are so many knowledgeable people. How can you apply that knowledge to create value? And that's a separate knowledge, right? It's not that knowledge which you know, it's something, how do you apply that knowledge to create value, which is second aspect which you should be focusing on. Unfortunately, people don't, right? And that's the reason you say that we have so many engineers, but they are not employable. Why? Because they don't know how to apply that knowledge to create value somewhere. There are so many management graduates, you take the degree, and that's what I keep saying, people pass the exam and fail in the life because they have no clue of how to do that knowledge they have. So focus upon those aspects so that you can face the changing world with confidence. That confidence has to come in you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, very good question.
Yes, sir. So there are many questions in the chat that we got till now. So, sir, if you want to take any.
No, I'm just go. I think we are going with the right flow. So you are asking in a very intelligent manner all these questions in a screen form. So please, whatever you think is relevant, we can take it up. You decide. I will let you decide that.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much. So we'll take a question because we are talking about career. So we'll surely be taking a question about the entrepreneurship part, the entrepreneurial part that we have, the business thing that we have. So we have a question that comes from Joe. Joe, can you please unmute yourself and ask your question?
Good evening, sir. My name is Jude Joe, studying in class 10. So my question to you is, what are the benefits of pursuing entrepreneurship or starting a business as a teenager?
Starting a business as a teenager is very, very difficult. Honestly speaking, starting the business as at the age of 50, when I am where I am, is difficult. Teenager is much more difficult, right? Please remember, when you talk about starting a business demands not just one, multiple competence sets. Okay, take it. I'm good. Look, when you talk about the business, please understand one part. And again, I am coming from my own experience because I have been an entrepreneur for the last 15 years. And I must tell you that I have failed more and succeeded less. Okay? When you talk about the entrepreneurship is a very, very, very difficult task. Why? Because it's not one aspect, it's the A to Z of the entire business. Essentially, where do you procure the things from? How do you process it? How do you sell it? Who the customer is? Why should the customer come to you? Why, what kind of competition? Can some other guy come in tomorrow in the business and kill you? What are the technological changes? It's so much, right? It's so much. It's not one part in any business. See, and then differentiate between the business and the profession. So if it's a doctor with his own capabilities can do a lot of stuff along with the equipments and the nurses around, right? A proper setup of the hospital, he can do much stuff. If you look at a professional like CA or a CS or an architect, they can use their intellect and produce a lot of things. That's not a business, that's a profession. Or a teacher for this matter, he can be very intellectual. But when you talk about any business which is running, which will have the heads and the legs and the hands and whatever it is, please remember it needs a lot of battery of people. Though entrepreneurship looks very zazzy, very fancy, very exciting, but it's very, very, very difficult. And until you have a set of people with relevant knowledge and experience, right, it doesn't work. So I would essentially think, if you want to experiment with some kind of maybe trading business to put your hands on, for example, whichever building you are studying in, tomorrow you can go to all these people and say, start doing some small stuff. Just let me give you 2 or 3 examples, right? For example, Diwali will come, right? Go to the market, buy the raw diyas. When you buy the diyas, paint them, or maybe involve people to get them painted, etc., etc., and then sell it to people. Try doing it and say that you will give the money to charity, right? So what will happen is you will have some first taste of the the entrepreneurship. You're not making money. You are still understanding the nuances of business, but trying to experiment with that. How does it work? What is the thought process of people? If you go and sell that diya for 200, people will not buy. If you sell for 50, people will probably buy. You will understand pricing. You will understand when you go and say, I will keep the profit, they will not buy. If you go and say, I will give the charity, they will buy. You will understand the second aspect. So that's the way it is. Experiment, right? Maybe you go to your building people and say, look, give me your raddi, your newspapers, etc., or whatever you're not using, and connect with some NGO, sell that raddi, give the cash to them. This is the way you develop entrepreneurship, little bit, right? It doesn't come on day one. So I would think focus upon studies, get to some knowledge, get to some experience, get to some level, and then think about the entrepreneurship. It's too early. But if you want to experiment with these small thoughts of buying some plant, doing some trading work here and there, it will give you some sense of the entrepreneurship. I will think that way.
Joe, I hope you got your answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So that's right. And that's great that when we are talking about entrepreneurship or any other profession, so teens, you need to make sure that you're taking small steps. Even if you are taking off the entrepreneurship, you want to become a businessman and whatsoever is your dreams, eventually you will achieve it. But the small steps are very, very important. You can have a research about Apple's office because that's one of the fancy brand that teens are very much into to get in. Apple, Google, you'll see the first office of theirs also, and then you'll be in shock that okay, fine, they have also started from the very basic. Amazon, if you see, so that Amazon just they didn't have a banner, they didn't have money to get a banner printed also. They just painted it and just hanged it. And now we can see that Amazon is one of the biggest companies, right? One of the dream companies that teenagers must be having. So eventually, sir, my question is, and the question that is coming from here as well, that in this world where there's competition, I understand there's competition, but there we can see some of the very inspiring companies that are standing on their own right now. So give me a hands up, teens, that who all wants to get into all the companies that I'm talking about. When I talk about Amazon, when I talk about Apple, when I talk about Google. So we are getting hands up from the teens, so that we are getting thumbs from Aasim, somebody. Google eventually is one of teen companies of many of the teenagers. Eventually, many of the adults, when they are working, they want to get into that. So what are some of the trends? What are some of the industry trends, opportunities, or any professional development resource that you want these teenagers to get updated to? And is there any way so that they can get updated themselves from their age?
Yeah, very interesting question. And I think if you see that part, the world is getting more and more democratized. Earlier, for example, take this example when all of us are getting connected. People on this call are from the different parts of the country and probably some of them from outside country. You are sitting somewhere else, I'm sitting somewhere else, right? So this is one example of that democratized opportunity, right? Maybe before Corona, very few people had that privilege of being able to connect this way, but today everyone is, right? Now, if you look at on the knowledge part, right, the profs or a lot of stuff is today available to you and me. The knowledge was limited to a prof or someone who was professional. Today, with the YouTube, you and me are able to access that, right? I may not know the Buffett or Charlie Munger in my own profession of investment, but I can hear them live, listen to their talks, listen to their speeches, etc. on the net, right? So what I'm trying to communicate is that the part of the democratization process is helping you and me to learn what you and me can do. Maybe listen to your ideal people or ideal organizations, when you want to become, let's say, part of the Google, listen to some interviews of the Google people. Also, because they are related to tech and tech related ASA, maybe talk to them and ask, boss, which are the 5 or 3 courses I should do? Coursera, Udemy, etc. They have done a great job of making hundreds of courses available to you and me free, right? In fact, there's a Government of India website, I don't remember. Suvidha, some website is there. I can let you know on the WhatsApp where you are in touch with me. You know, that website offers you thousands of free courses on different dimensions of professions, technology, AI, ML, right? Hundreds of management courses are there, and they are not courses created by anyone. They are created by some of the professors of the IITs and the IIMs, etc., etc. So today you have a lot of free resources in the technology leveraged world, be it on the YouTube or on the Udemy or the Coursera of the world. In fact, you know, Udemy, Coursera, etc. If you just take a course, you don't pay. If you need a certificate, then you pay. So if you know, जो 3 idiot वाला है ना, हम लोगों को वैसा बन जाना है, जहाँ knowledge पढ़िए ले लो, right? So if whatever your area of interest is, today there is a course available to you and me, and that too free. Just pick that up. Do something. Don't. The biggest problem is that you and me are wasting time. You think you are consuming tech, but remember, tech is consuming you and me. If you save and cut on that 90%, 95% of your time, which is taken by your laptop or the phone, and deploy that towards creating something for yourself, read some book, talk to some amazing people, listen to some YouTube videos, right? Do something which is productive, and then you see the change which will happen to your personality 5 years down the line. That's the values.
So I totally agree. Like even I feel all of us agree. It's tough to understand this that yes, technology is consuming us. If we save our time, the time that we are giving on the tech, I know that there's a benefits of the same as well. And then it's a boon and bane thing that we see. We have a debate of boon and bane. Then what even technology is a boon or a bane, but it depends on how the usage is done. So eventually, I will also advise all the teens to use it in a definite way because this is the time you are building the base of your career, and that is very very important for you. So I know that there are many questions which are yet to taken, and eventually we cannot take it in one session. We'll surely be looking forward to many more sessions with you. So sir, as we come close to our career question and answer session, I will request that if you have any message, any last closing address that you want to give to the teams, that will eventually be very fortunate to hear that.
यार मैं तो यही बोलूंगा बार बार यार, हैप्पीनेस पे फोकस करना है अपने को रेट रेस में नहीं घुसना है. आई एम टेलिंग यू, आई हैव बीन थ्रू दैट एंड आई डोंट एक्सपेक्ट इवन माय किड्स, I don't ask them what marks. They tell me that what the marks are, that's fine. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you and me live one life, should remain happy, pursue your passion. And if you convert your passion into profession, right? A, you will be able to commercially live, and B, because anything which is not commercially livable, right? It's like, you know, fad. थोड़े दिन चलेगा पर वो चल नहीं पाएगा बहुत लंबा, because you have to feed a family. Right? At the end of the day, you have to live in this commercial world where the things are becoming more and more expensive. So you have to earn. You have to be practical. You can't just be theoretical. No, I love art. That's fine. But tell me, how do you make money out of that art? Then that's fine, right? So you love teaching, please teach. You love music, please do music. You love whatever you love, do. Follow your passion. Try to convert that into profession. Look for the people you want to become. Go and interact with them and ask what exactly they experience in the real life, right? I think there's one part which I would essentially request every one of you to, whatever you want to become, just find 5 people who are there in your idealistic world. This is the guy I want to become in my own career, and just try to connect with them, and you can connect today. LinkedIn and etc. You can connect, right? And please, the time, remember, time once gone never comes back. It's a resource which is a depleting resource every day. So you have to be very careful that time once gone is never coming back. And secondly, how do you deploy that time prudently, right? Towards what's relevant and what's not. The moment you start understanding and differentiating these two, I think that will become your competitive edge, which is very large, right? So the other few things, And life is very big in the perspective. Be prepared for the so to call failure. People call it failure. I call it you don't succeed, and that's comfortable, right? I also didn't succeed in many things, and I'm okay, right? So if you succeed in one or two or three things, that's good enough. But focus, give your life to those one or two or three things, because if you don't have anything to die for, you don't have the life, right? So create those one, two, three things which you are happy to die for, right? And then the life looks very beautiful. Life is indeed beautiful. Appreciate what is available free, sunrise, sunset. I'm telling you, you may say I'm too young to appreciate all this, but I think you should start connecting with the nature, because nature teaches you so many beautiful things. Take life easy, right? Focus, but don't kill yourself just because something is not happening. Put your best and leave the rest. That's the way the world should go. Yeah? I'll stop here, I think.
Definitely, that the sentence that you have said, put your best and let's leave the rest. So that's a very great thing. I feel that all the teenagers will eventually follow that, because your expertise when it comes to passion and along with determination and purpose that you have made the teens understood, that was really, really great, sir. Thank you so much for giving your time. And thank you so much to all the teens also. So my heartfelt gratitudes from on the behalf of Blub World, that on the behalf of World Teen Parliament as well, that thank you so much for giving your time. Thank you so much to all the teenagers. The questions were seriously
Awesome. Awesome questions, I can tell you.
definitely the questions were engaging. I also sometimes feel a little include that the way they're asking the question, when I was in your age, I was not able to think so much. But the way you're putting up your questions, that was really great. Thank you so much for joining. And thank you so much, sir, for giving us your time. Thank you so much for giving these teenagers your valuable insights that you must have gained in a lot of years that you're doing. So thank you so much for joining. And
thank you. Thank you, and all the best to all of you. God bless you guys. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
So that we are almost done. We are done with the session. I would request all the teenagers to give me a thumbs up if you like the session. So see, I can see a lot of thumbs up. So thank you so much for joining all the teens. And I would request that from the next session, please keep your camera on so that we can interact a little more. So I can see that my whole screen is filled with thumbs up. That's very great. And we'll see you soon in the next session. Okay. Bye-bye. Take care.